Yep.
Our Digi mentor.
Well, first we said Bitcoin mentor, but we thought if we called him BM that some people might not like that.
No.
He might
let's
not like
call him.
that. He
Let's
might.
let's call him the let's call him the Digi mentor.
Yeah,
the
he
Digi
might take
mentor.
exception to
I
that.
mean, and it includes everything, not just the Bitcoin. See, that's the whole thing. Nah.
That's true, but I don't think he wanted to be called BM, be known
No,
as.
no, 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 no.
Okay, all right. I
Say hi,
am.
hi, Doc and Queen. This is Damien. Damien's in the house, and
Hey,
let's see
buddy.
who else might be in the house. Hmm?
I was just saying, hey,
Brian,
hey.
yeah, Indianapolis is here. Excited about becoming a Digi millionaire soon.
I am ready, by the
And
way.
I'm guessing that that's what everybody's goal is who has joined us because we have a webinar that is packed full, and I'm sure it's gonna so we have a little bit more room for some more people. So I guess we have a few more people coming on, but not many. So Doc, have you got all set up?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. So everybody, who wants to be a Digi millionaire? You may answer now. Who wants to be a Digi millionaire? We're going to teach you. We're going to show you how that might be possible.
Yeah, put that in your questions box. If you want to be
Yes.
a DM, a Digi millionaire, put that in your questions box. Ah, yeah. Awesome, awesome,
Oh, heck yeah.
awesome, awesome. All right. All right. I'm ready, Queen.
They're
I'm
coming
ready.
in. They're coming in. They're coming in hot and heavy. All right. Well, we have Doc who is here to tell us all about how we might just be able to become a Digi millionaire in the near future. So, Doc, we're ready to hear what you have to say.
Thanks a lot, Queen. I appreciate that. And I really appreciate every one of you being on the webinar. I know we've got people from all across the globe. Welcome to our webinar. For those of you that are here for the first time, or maybe you've followed our webinars in the past, but you're here for the first time with this subject matter, welcome. If you're here for the first time, period, welcome. And if you are a returner, if you're like Cristiano, who never misses a webinar, welcome back. Now, tonight, what I want to do is I want us to take our time. This is not going to be your regular hype, rah, rah presentation type webinar. I really want to take some time as we start to make our case that you too can be a Digi millionaire. So we may go for about 80 minutes or so of content. Make sure you've cleared off your schedule. Make sure you have no distractions because I do not want you to miss anything. Are we recording this? Yes, but I want you to get this in the moment. I want you to get this in the moment. By the way, this is one of our new logos. For those of you who have been following us intimately, we've got a logo for Click Rank and Bank or CRB, and we're going to be. She's going to have a companion. All right, she's going to have DM here as her companion here, Digi Millionaires. All right, so our overall objective for our audience is to assist you in building a long-term sustainable business with multiple streams of income across multiple niches. So we know that many folks that follow us come from the marketing niche. You are marketing something, and you might be marketing some of the same things that we've been marketing. We want to have multiple streams of income across multiple niches. That's important because there are niches that are hot for a minute and then they dry up. Back in the late 90s, the telecom niche was really, really hot. Back in the early 2000s, the nutritional beverage niche, Tahitian noni juice, Mona V, Zango juice, Free Life's Golgi juice, they were really, really hot. And those companies, for the most part, are still around, or maybe they've been absorbed by other companies, but they're not quite as hot now. So we want to have multiple streams of income across multiple niches so that you ultimately have the financial and time freedom to hotly pursue the passions of your heart. Now, one niche, ladies and gentlemen, that we have to involve ourselves in, and I really don't care what else you are promoting. We are the multiple streams of income folks, so we believe in multiple streams of income. So if you're promoting a weight loss offer, if you're promoting a traffic offer, if you're promoting a nutritional offer, fantastic. But one niche that you must delve into and become a student of is this Digi niche, this digital currency, Bitcoin type niche. So tonight I want to begin to reveal to you a believable path to you becoming what we call a Digi or a digital millionaire. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little about Bitcoin here. And as always, in your questions box, I wanted to get a sense of our audience. If you know little to nothing about Bitcoin, in your questions box, put a L for little to nothing. I know little to nothing about Bitcoin. Let's see those L's. Okay, well, they're not coming in as fast as they normally do. So looks like some of you are starting to get some education, okay, about Bitcoin. All right, so for those of you, and you can, if you still know little or nothing about Bitcoin, I still like to see that in your questions box. For those of you that know little to nothing about Bitcoin, tonight we're not going to focus so much on an education of what Bitcoin is or is not. I'll give you just a little bit of that. The biggest thing I want you to see is the explosiveness of this entire niche, because I want you walking away from tonight's webinar saying, I see myself becoming a Digi millionaire. We're going to outlay a 5-step blueprint to helping you to get to Digi millionaire status. Okay, so really quickly, for those of you who know little to nothing about Bitcoin, Bitcoin is a form of digital currency. It's created and it's held electronically. Now, here's a couple really big things to know about Bitcoin is no one controls it. And that's a really big deal because it can't be manipulated by governments or by a Federal Reserve. You know, when the Federal Reserve started printing billions of dollars per month in U.S. dollars during the financial crisis of 2008, what that did is that further devalued an already very weak dollar. So what happens is your fiat money, your paper money, whether it's U.S. dollars or euros or Australian dollars or what have you. But let's talk about the U.S. dollar for just a moment, since it is the world's reserve currency. The more and more money that is printed, the more paper dollars, fiat dollars that are printed, the less and less value your dollars have. This is why you can look back and say, okay, when I was a teenager, what did $1 buy me, or what did $5 buy me, or what did $10 buy me? And it certainly doesn't buy you what that buys today, okay? And the reason is that our fiat money, whether they're U.S. dollars or Euro dollars, what have you, they are constantly losing value due to inflation. And one of the reasons they lose value is because they are manipulated by government, okay? So Bitcoin is not owned or controlled by any entity, any government, any big company, any big bank, or what have you. One of the reasons that people love using Bitcoin is you can transfer Bitcoin, you can send Bitcoin to anyone in the world that has a Bitcoin address. Not that dissimilar to sending someone PayPal funds. Now, if you were in the U.S., for instance, and you were doing commerce, you were doing business, maybe you have an Amazon business, and you wanted to send $20,000 in U.S. dollars to a company in China that is sourcing a product for your fulfillment by Amazon business, you might have quite a bit of scrutiny wiring $20,000 to China. Okay, because you're having to go through intermediaries, and you might have to fill out a bunch of paperwork, and you might even get some dings from the IRS and what have you, that show up some flags. Not that you're doing anything wrong, but that's just a little intrusive, don't you think? Whereas you could send $20,000, and it would be very expensive to send that, to send a wire, to send an international wire, so on and so forth. Okay, whereas you could send $20,000 worth of Bitcoin. You don't have to ask anybody. You don't need anybody's approval. You don't need anyone's stamp of it's okay for you to send your own money. So Bitcoin and other coins, because there's now over 700 of these coins, really allow you to be your own bank. Another big function of Bitcoin another big highlight of Bitcoin is there will only be a certain number of Bitcoins ever produced. I think the number is something like 21 million. okay, there will only be a certain amount of Bitcoins ever produced. Okay, now, so let's think this through. Economics 101 talks about supply and demand. If you have an ever-growing supply but lower demand, far more supply but lower demand, what happens to prices? They go down, i.e., you have a flood of trillions of dollars into the marketplace of US dollars. But you've got more and more countries saying that's funny money. It's not backed by gold like it used to be before 1971. We don't want your US dollars. Maybe we'll use euros, or maybe we'll. There's talks about certain countries getting together right now. It's when you send a wire, even if you're outside of the U.S., somehow it goes through the U.S. banking system. That's why back in 2008, they said there were certain banks that were too large to fail because everything flows through New York. So you could be in Panama and you want to send money to, let's say, Bulgaria, all right, and that still may find its way through the U.S. banking system. All right, so now what is happening is there's some countries who are saying, you know what, let's get together. Russia, Brazil, China, a few other countries have come together and said, you know, foo-foo-wee on the U.S. dollar. And so there is actually, across the globe, countries are requiring less and less U.S. dollars because they're starting to do things on their own, lower demand, but you still have all this huge supply in the marketplace of U.S. dollars. Now, let's flip the script on that. If you limit supply, so there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoins. That's it, all right? But you have ever increasing demand. What happens to the price of that asset? Does it go up or go down? That asset is going to go up, okay? So without knowing fully everything about Bitcoin, hopefully you understand that if you have a limited supply, 21 million Bitcoins that will ever be in existence, and you've got increasing demand because people are using Bitcoin more and more for commerce and what have you, and even for things like investment purposes, all right, then over time, we would expect that asset to increase in value. All right, so now, this was an article I saw today. And if these numbers are true, we've got a very simple $1 million strategy, 7-figure strategy. This article is suggesting that Bitcoin will hit a price of $250,000 a coin. Now, the thing with Bitcoin is you don't have to buy one Bitcoin, a full Bitcoin, okay? Just like let's say if you were using US dollars are broken down into cents. So 0.1 would be a tenth of a dollar or 10 cents. 0.01 would be 1/100th of a dollar or 1 cent. So you don't have to just deal in one US dollar. You can, if you can find something that costs 3 cents or what have you, okay? With Bitcoin, it's 0.0000000 whatever. There's 8 decimal places behind the zero. So you don't have to have a full Bitcoin, but look at what this says. They are predicting that if Bitcoin just continues the same growth trend that it has seen over the last 7 years, the same growth trend that it has seen over the last 7 years, that by 2020, Bitcoin would reach $250,000 per coin. Now, that's not to say it's going to do that, but there's a 7-year track record, Uncle Roo, that if Bitcoin simply follows what it's done the last 7 years, no more, no less, Brian Civic, one Bitcoin would be worth $250,000. Let's assume that happens, whether it happens by 2020 or 2021 or 2022 or what have you, okay? We know that there's a limited number of Bitcoins that will ever be in circulation, and there is an ever increasing demand for Bitcoin. So that we know. It would only take 4 Bitcoin for you to be a Bitcoin millionaire. If Bitcoin ever got to $250,000 a coin, All right, and here's what this gentleman did. Jameson Loop, or Lop is his name, and I'll blow this up here, okay? I'll tell you what, he says, if you go back to 2010, all right, Bitcoin has increased on an average daily value. Now, obviously, there were times when Bitcoin went down. So this is looking at the longer term, all right? And so in this 7-year track record from 2010 to 2017, Bitcoin has only had one losing year, all right? And that just happened to be the first year that we got into Bitcoin in 2014, okay? The latter part of 2014. When we got into Bitcoin, Bitcoin was going for $515 a coin, and it languished for about 18 months. It went down to 400 to 300, down to 200, a little under 200 for a spell, and now it has come roaring back. We'll look at current pricing in just a few moments. Okay, well over, it came close to $3,000 a coin on yesterday, and it pulled back as we would have expected it with such an emotional level of $3,000 a coin. It pulled back significantly yesterday, but has made back ground up today. So look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Over the last 7 years, all right, think of this relative to your savings account. Think of this relative to your mutual fund account. Think of this relative to your stock account. On average, in 2010, Bitcoin daily average was 0.82%. Now think about how quickly your asset base would grow if you had an asset that on average grew by 0.82%, just under 1% a day. While you were asleep, while you were working, while you were doing whatever it is that you love to do or maybe don't like to do. 2011, 2012, 2013 was a banner year. Gave back some ground in 2014. 2015 still this on a daily basis. 2016, 2017. Okay? So what he is saying is if Bitcoin just increases by what it has been averaging, which would now be 0.42% on a daily basis, then by 2020, Bitcoin prices would reach $250,000 per coin. Other folks have suggested that ultimately Bitcoin could be $1 million a coin. All right, so here's one quick strategy. One quick, now this is a big picture view. Let's accumulate 4 Bitcoin. There you go. If it hits 250 and you have 4 Bitcoins, your Bitcoin portfolio just with Bitcoin alone would be worth $1 million if it hits 250. And what does it have to do to hit 250? Do what it's done the last 7 years for the next 3, for the next 2.5 actually. Now think that through. Think that through. What does Bitcoin need to do to hit $250,000 a coin? It needs to do what it has done the last 7 years for the next 2.5 years. Let me stop for just a moment. If anybody, whether you know a whole lot about Bitcoin or not, numbers never lie. All it has to do to hit $250,000 a coin is to do what it's done the last 7 years, the next 2.5 years. How many of you want to have some Bitcoins? If that's you, put BC. I want some Bitcoins. Okay, someone, you lost audio. How long, oh wow. How long did I lose audio? Was I out for a while? Okay, all right, okay. There might have been some people's, I had a couple people saying that, but it looks like everyone heard that, okay? All right, so going forward, our focus is going to be what can we do to accumulate more and more Bitcoins. If the marketplace, if Bitcoin just does the next 2.5 years what it's done the last 7 years, and we were able to accumulate over time 4 Bitcoins, that would get us to Digi Millionaire status. All right. So here is our game plan, and I don't want to rush this tonight, okay? So I'm not trying to do in a 30-minute time frame or even an hour time frame. I'm more concerned if If only 10 of you stay to the end and you get it, then I have done my job. All right. And we've got a lot more than 10 of you on the webinar. Okay. All right. So here's our Bitcoin millionaire plan. Number one, there's going to be an auto trade platform. If you've been following us intimately, you've heard us talk about this quite a bit. That is going to enter pre-launch. I spoke very briefly, Facebook, when I say spoke, it was all Facebook chat, with the owner of the system yesterday, I believe it was the last message I got back from him. He said the system is ready to go live in terms of pre-launch. What the challenge is the servers. There is a system that's in place that has over 400,000 participants. They're going to migrate those 400,000 participants into the new auto trading platform. So he said it's still a few days away, but they are doing a lot of stress testing to make sure that the system does not break. So we're going to talk a little bit about this tonight, auto trading. Now, there are a number of supposed auto trade platforms that have come into the marketplace over the past few months. One of them is called Gladio Coin. It looks like they are on their way out, if not completely done. There's a couple of more. I don't want to foo-foo on any of them, but I will say, and I'll show you this tonight, that any system that says that they are trading Bitcoin, they should be able to provide unmitigated proof that they're trading in Bitcoin. I'm going to show you tonight. I'm going to be in my son's account where he's personally trading, and you will see actual trade records of what's happened. What you won't see is you won't see his name, you won't see his account number, you won't see his balance. So it's very simple to be able to show, hey, we are actually trading. Any system that says we're trading Bitcoin that's not willing to show that they're actually trading, I would put in the suspect column. Now, we are promoting this based on the vow that they're going to show actual trading, not just screenshots, but video going behind the scenes, and we're going to hold them to it, all right? And if they don't follow suit, then just know that we've got a 5-step game plan, all right? And so we're not dependent on any one step to get us to Bitcoin millionaire status. If you can accumulate over time 4 Bitcoins that you don't have to convert into fiat money, you don't have to convert into cash, cash is trash, all right? I would want, right now, I don't want any more of my assets sitting in cash than what I have to have. Now, ultimately, we're going to talk about silver and gold and other things, other hard assets that have been around since the dawn of man and womankind that have been used to generate wealth, i.e. silver, i.e. gold, i.e. Real estate. In time, I hope that we will develop such a bond with some of our audience that as we get to Bitcoin millionaire status or Digi millionaire status, just imagine if all we had was 100 of you that were Digi millionaires, okay, which is a small amount of our overall audience. But 100 of you got this, followed it, and 3 years from now, we were all Digi millionaires. $100 million worth of assets. We could now go down to Chile, for instance, where there are co-op investment opportunities where you buy land on the farm, and because you bought land on the farm, you're part of the co-op. They already have a farming enterprise where they're selling internationally, and you participate in the profits. All right. Ultimately, we want to take our digital currency, our digital portfolio, and begin to scale into assets that have stood the test of time throughout humanity. All right, so we're going to start off with the auto trade platform. If they do what they say they're going to do, if they don't, we're going to call them on it. Okay, all right. They said, and the reason I started promoting them is they said, hey, none of this crap that you're seeing in the marketplace. We're going to show you real proof that we are doing what we say that we are doing. Now, the reason that's step one is because everyone will be able to participate. And when the system will start a pre-launch in as early as a few days, owners telling me that it will go into full launch about 30 days thereafter. That's when you'll be able to fund an account. and you can fund an account with as little as $100 worth of Bitcoin. No monthly subscription, no monthly auto ship, low barrier to entry. Okay, and of course, there is no cap on what you may want to fund that with. Second part of our millionaire game plan is we want to help you build a network of auto traders. Towards the end of the webinar, I'm going to share with you a very simple compensation model related to this auto trade platform. We saw this model in a 17-month period produce millions upon millions of dollars for our audience. And so we know that this model can generate millions of dollars in commissions. The fact that there will be no caps on what a person can fund or add to their auto trading account, and because that will also be a commissionable activity, that means, ladies and gentlemen, the potential of you generating huge commissions. And by the way, all commissions will be paid out in Bitcoin. All right, what do we want ultimately? At least 4 Bitcoins. Because if we hit $250,000 a coin, all we need to do is the next 2.5 years to replicate the last 7. We don't need to do any more, okay? And if you had 4 Bitcoins, you would have, you'd be a Digi millionaire. So there's a platform, the auto trading platform is going to have a compensation element to it. As you build out a network of auto traders, you're going to be compensated in Bitcoin. You'll be able to liquidate Bitcoin. If you've never dealt with Bitcoin, you can turn Bitcoin back into your country's currency. You can even put Bitcoin on a debit card. Okay, so yes, you've got bills to pay now, and that may require cash and not Bitcoin or what have you. All right, we want to quickly get you to the point where you can cover those cash transactions, but then you can actually start to grow your Digi asset base. Number 3, I want us to immerse ourselves in this space. I am committing to immersing myself in this space, and you're going to see why in a few moments. I have never seen what I'm seeing in this space, and I have traded in some form or fashion since 1999. I started off with the stock market. I saw the IPO .com stir craze. I got in on the tail end on. I never really got in on any of the IPOs. I just saw a new .com whose IPO started at $20 a share being $100 a share by the end of the first trading day. I saw that repeatedly. And I'm going to tell you that what's happening in the coin market is that on steroids and human growth hormones and what have you. So we want to immerse ourselves into at least learning enough about Bitcoin. How do I buy Bitcoin? How can I liquidate Bitcoin? How do I store it so that I can ultimately store millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, and it's out of reach from hackers and it's out of reach from what have you, okay? Now, next Thursday, we're going to introduce you to our Bitcoin trading mentor, our Digi mentor. Again, originally I was going to call him my BM Bitcoin mentor, and I thought, oh no, BM stands for something else. I don't want to call him a piece of, and he happens to be on the webinar tonight, so hopefully he's finding a little chuckle in that. All right, this gentleman has been trading in the Bitcoin space for roughly 3 years. He's built a tidy fortune trading in the Bitcoin space. Thank you, Uncle Roo, for connecting the dots with our Digi mentor and yours truly, so that we can understand, my gosh, just how powerful this is. So next Thursday, mark your calendars for next Thursday. He's going to be introduced to our audience, and some of you will opt to want to have him be your trading mentor, learn how to trade. Now, he's only going to have a limited number of spots, all right? The reason I want you to strongly consider that is that nobody will ever be able to take away that skill set from you. And unlike trading in the stock market, unlike trading in the Forex market, where I spent hours upon hours looking at charts, you're not going to have to look at charts. It's a very simple game plan that he's going to share with you. All right. Now, if you're new to all of this, yeah, there'll be some learning curve, but a very simple trading plan that he's going to share with you. And I'm going to show you tonight a little bit of what he's allowing me to share, how one of his portfolios that he allows me to track in the last 7 days, over $74,000 in trading profits and appreciation of some of these cryptocurrencies. Over $74,000 in the last 7 days. If you want to learn how to trade, along with the auto trade system, but you want to learn how to trade, in your questions box, put L. I want to learn how to trade. Put an L in your questions box. Awesome. And they keep coming in. Awesome. Okay. Number 4, we're going to diversify into other credible crypto. Oftentimes when you hear Bitcoin, you hear also people refer to as cryptocurrencies. Okay. Other credible cryptocurrency, digital currency, Digi offers. We've already begun testing. Now, let me tell you what I'm looking for specifically with these offers. I'm looking for offers that if you never did any recruiting, while there may be a recruiting phase to it, if you never did any sponsoring, while there may be a sponsoring phase to it, that there's an offer, a credible one, that allows you to generate Digi profits, whether you are there or not. Okay? So that's what I'm focused on. Now, Jetcoin, that ain't it. Just like Gladiator Coin, ain't it. And there's a couple of more out there that some big leaders are promoting, and I still haven't seen any trading proof. If you're promoting something now and they're not willing to show you proof of trading, then I would put a question mark there, okay? The reason we're promoting the auto trading platform that we'll be promoting is because they have vowed to show us proof. If they do not keep their vow, we will call them on the carpet. If they still do not keep their vow, understand we've got more than just one part of the millionaire game plan. I said billionaire game plan. Maybe that's what I should have said, billionaire game plan. And then number 5, developing a coin portfolio. Okay? All right, so now what I want to do real quickly is I want to show you the impact of developing a coin portfolio. I want to show you the impact. So we can get you to Bitcoin millionaire status with or without the auto trade system. If the auto trade system does what they say they're going to do, it's just going to help us get there a lot quicker. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to make a commitment to intimately follow what we're doing. This is a message you will, up to this point, you probably haven't heard from anyone else, okay? We are going to become and we are going to create scores of Digi millionaires. All right, let me show you, and some of you saw this today. If you did not see our training today, we sent out a training in about 15 minutes. If you did not get a chance to view all of that training today, put a D in, did not. I did not get a chance to see today's training. Someone put an eCoin Plus. If they're not showing trading, okay, all right. So a lot of you did not get a chance to see today's training. Now, it should be in your email box. By the way, today's training is also going to be a video message that's going to be in our autoresponder series as we are developing a 30-day video email campaign for those of you that will be leveraging CRB. There will be a new robust video follow-up series to show people how to get to Digi millionaire status. Okay, so what you are looking at is you're looking at a capture of our trading, one of our trading mentors' portfolio. All right, so he trades actively, full-time. He takes care of his family. As a matter of fact, he's making a move very soon, not only to Las Vegas, but also looking at buying some property in a beautiful Caribbean destination. His life has completely changed. You should know this. He's been a part of our following for years. He was a part of a company with us that unfortunately failed in 2012. From 2011 to 2012, there was this huge company. Unfortunately, they didn't dot all the I's, didn't cross all the T's, and they got shut down. Okay, no warning, they just got shut down. He was full-time with that business. He was making really good money. He ultimately had to go back to work. He had a baby on the way. And you'll hear a little bit more of his story on next week when we bring him to our audience. But he stumbled into Bitcoin, and he is the most proficient person I know in this space. Now, I'm new to this space, all right? But I can just sit and just let this dude talk and just take notes and just be a student, all right? So this is one of his portfolios. Now, I wish I'd had the presence of mind when he allowed me to start following it to take daily screenshots, because about, I want to say 3 weeks or so ago, this portfolio was in the $150,000 range. If you took all of the coins that he owns, all right, that he owns Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin, and there's over 700 coins out there. This portfolio probably has about 30 or so coins that he has studied. He likes what that project is. He believes that these are going to be currencies that are going to be around for the longer haul. I didn't have the presence of mind to chart it on a daily basis. So I decided to do it last week. I got his permission. Hey, can I show certain parts of it so long as I don't show too much sensitive data? And so this was, you can see here at the bottom of my screen, I did a screenshot so you could also see the date and the time. So this was at 9:11 a.m., June the 6th, okay? His portfolio was $335,721. Now, just a couple of weeks previous to that, it was $150,000 or so. So I saw his portfolio grow by $150,000 in 1 week's time. I got in touch with him. Hey, DM, Digi Mentor, what the world happened? Did you put some more into the account? He said, no. That's what I've been trying to get people to see for the last 3 years. It was a combination of him trading and the fact that he now has a coin portfolio. And some of those coins that he had appreciated, and some of them appreciated significantly in value. All right, so look at this. Is from this over the past week, June the 6th, 335,000. Look at this. Then we came back on June the 7th. 335 was now at 346. Now this fluctuates all during the day because he's got a coin portfolio which is fluctuating all throughout the day. Okay, so sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, so on and so forth. Okay. Now I made a mistake and forgot to do June the 8th. So I came back and I did June the 9th. And now from 335 to 346 to 354. Okay. June the 10th. Whoa, 391. Wait a minute. From 354 to 391 in a, let's see, my screenshot. This was at 4:59 p.m. This was at 10:40 p.m. So about 18 hours, 24, about 30 hours later. From 354 to 391. Then on the 11th, up to 402. Now, the 11th was, all right, there we go. Then on the 12th, this was yesterday. Now, this was early in the morning, all right, 6:36 in the morning, 418. Now, what happened yesterday is there was a nice pullback in the market. Bitcoin approached $3,000 a coin. We should expect, as it approaches 3,000, that it might have something that we call resistance because it's never been to 3,000 before. All right. And so there was a quick drop in Bitcoin prices. I think it went down to even into the 2,500s, from 2,900 to the 2,500s. Listen, when we're in the crypto space, especially if we have currencies, i.e. Bitcoin, i.e. Ethereum, i.e. Litecoin, and a few other ones that our mentor really, really likes, okay? We need to be thinking about this space longer term and not get too high when we have a tremendous day, but also not get bent out of shape when it goes down. By the way, when it goes down, is that the time to panic? Or is that the time to say, ooh, let's go shopping and buy some more? Wouldn't we want to buy it at $2,500 a coin instead of $3,000? Yeah, okay. All right, so what happened was, this was early during the day, and the portfolio went down, all right, well under the 418, went down under 400. This morning, when I went back to it at 823, it was back to 402. It had come under 400. Keep in mind, it was 150 some odd thousand about 3 weeks ago. Then I was going to do a training on this. All right, so I took a screenshot of this. By the time I got my video ready to render and what have you, I said, well, let's go back and let's see what it's going for right now. All right, so look at the time here, 8:23 a.m. The very next screenshot was about an hour and a half later, and it had gone from 402 to 410. From 402 to 410. So yesterday, the markets pulled back somewhat. That's time to go shopping. And now the market came back, starting to come back or what have you. And this is where we were right before we started the webinar. Okay, so at 7:27 p.m. U.S. East Coast time, which is about the time that we opened up the webinar room, it was up to 420. So let's do a little math. Again, tonight is a little bit different. I wanted to give you, I want you walking away saying, my gosh, I got a shot to become a Digi. I have more than a shot. If all I did was accumulate 4 Bitcoins and Bitcoin went to 250,000 a coin, I'm a Digi millionaire. So what's my quickest way to start to accumulate Bitcoins? Okay. Now, look at this real quickly. And we are recording this. If you're finding value in this, you will be able to share this with your audience. 420,921, that was right before we got onto the webinar. Let's subtract out what the starting was a week ago on the 6th of June. 335, 721. All right. When I did the webinar, when I did the training this morning, my subject line was something to the effect of $74,545 increase in this Digi portfolio in a week's time. Now it's up 85,000 in a week's time. This portfolio is up 85,000. Now, some of that is due to our DM actually trading, going in and out of the market, buying and selling, buying and selling. I would imagine a good amount of that is due to simple coin appreciation. The fact that he has developed a well-rounded coin portfolio. So let's look at our 5 steps again. That was 85,000 in a week. My gosh. Woo! Man, my gosh, we've been in this deal. We've been in this network marketing thing for 20 plus years, and we've been chasing that elusive residual income where we've shared with our audience 4 times. We've gotten there, over $20,000 a month, only for something to happen. Our game plan, while it does incorporate elements of network marketing with the auto trading system, it is not solely based on network marketing. Our Digi mentor, if he never recruited a soul, still, my gosh, $85,000 in a week because he's developed a coin portfolio. Don't you dare miss our introduction of him next Thursday. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this has happened for him over the last 3 years. Don't you dare stop following us. Okay? All right, so now let's take a little time and let's talk about auto trading. Now, I may have been very loud in your ear. I'm not going to apologize. You're going to be all right. You're going to make it. All right? Let me stop. I don't want to swing around the chandeliers. I want numbers never lie. I want you to be sober. But if you are starting to see the light at the end of a financial tunnel, maybe you've struggled and struggled and struggled, but you're starting to see, my gosh, I could change the financial landscape for my family for maybe generations. If you're starting to see that, put in a G for generations. I could change the financial landscape for my family for generations. Awesome. Okay? Awesome. All right. So now let's do this. Let's do this. We'll finish up talking a little bit about the auto trade system, but we just talked about Bitcoin. Okay? And this is a chart that we often do a little teaching from. And it shows over a very short period of time, from April the 30th, 2017 to March the 10th, there was an explosion, not only in Bitcoin, but in other, what they call altcoin or alternative or alternate coins. BTC, in the Bitcoin market, in the Digi market, many of these coins trade on exchanges. And just like in the stock market, you have a stock market symbol, MSFT for Microsoft, as an example, WMT for Walmart. You have a trading symbol for these currencies and what they also refer to as tokens. All right, so here is BTC Bitcoin. You can see it was up 34% in less than 2 weeks. It was up 34% in less than 2 weeks. All right, now that is a kick butt return on any measure. If you were looking at 34% in your mutual fund in a year's time, on your stock account in a year's time, that would be reason to rejoice, okay? That is a phenomenal return. If your mutual fund manager is getting you 34% a year, he or she is going to be adorning Fortune, Wall Street Journal, Barron's, all the major financial publications. This happened in less than 2 weeks. But I want you to pay attention that this space is growing at a frenetic rate. There are, Bitcoin actually over the past year is one of, if you look at the top 10 of these cryptocurrencies measured by their market cap. Market cap is simply, if you take the number of coins that are in circulation, multiply it times the current market price, you come up with a market cap, all right? If you take the top 10 coins from last year in terms of market cap, every single one of them have performed, and in some cases far outperformed, have outperformed, and in some cases far outperformed Bitcoin. Every one of them, okay? So Bitcoin is the gold standard, yet there are other coins that have far outperformed coins. There's one called Ethereum. Many experts are saying that, my Digi mentor the other day told me, he said, people say that if Bitcoin is the money of the internet, then Ethereum, ETH, is the internet. Now, it did not increase nearly as much as some of these other coins during that time, but it sure has gone crazy, bonkers, the last week or week and a half. All right. So ultimately, we're going to have a coin portfolio. We're going to have some Bitcoin. We're going to have some Ripple, XRP. We're going to have some Ethereum. We're going to have some Litecoin. We're going to have XEM. Is that NIM? Is that NIM? I think that's NIM. NIM. We're going to have some Steam. So we're going to ultimately, if you follow what our DM is going to teach, and then what we'll supplement, all right, you're going to ultimately have a portfolio of these coins. Here's the goal. The goal is to build up the portfolio, to have other offers, to participate in the auto trade, but I want you to build up that, maybe even learn how to trade yourself, because I want you to be at the point that ultimately you are self-sufficient, whether a network marketing company is in play or not. Okay? All right, so now, with that being said, let's show you a couple of other things, and we're going to end up talking about the auto trade. But before we get there, all right, so here is a site that I go to now every single day. It is called coinmarketcap.com. Coinmarketcap.com. All right, and so what we're going to do here is I've opened up 3 windows here with coinmarketcap.com. Now, what you see now are, let me refresh so we can get the most up-to-date pricing. Now, these prices might actually be on a delayed quoting system, so they may not be exactly what's in the market right now, but they should be close, okay? All right, so Bitcoin, for instance, is the gold standard, and you can see its market cap is $44 billion. All right, now if we go back to our PowerPoint, we'll see that on April the 30th, it had a $21 billion market cap. So Bitcoin, since April 30th, has more than doubled in terms of its market cap. Okay, that is significant. Imagine if Apple doubled in, it's already one of the biggest companies out there, but that's significant, okay? Now, what's also significant is you see that Ethereum is catching up with market cap, not in price, but market cap. It's got a lot more coins out there in the marketplace. And this time last year, Ethereum was maybe like 15% of Bitcoin's market cap. Now, I'll just do some quick math. 36 divided by 44. Now it's 81% of Bitcoin's market cap. In the next few weeks, maybe the next couple months, Ethereum could actually overtake Bitcoin, not in price, but in market cap. All right, that would be huge. And what that's telling me is, even though there's been tremendous growth in this industry, there's still so much more to go. As a matter of fact, give me just a moment. Let's go to is that the site? I want to see something. Never mind. I tell you what. Let's do this. Apple market cap. Bear with us. Okay. Now I want to show you that even though we're starting to see explosive growth in this industry, how much more room there is for growth. If you take a look at coinmarketcap.com, you will see that the market cap of all cryptocurrencies combined right now, the market cap of all cryptocurrencies combined is $114 billion. The market cap of all cryptocurrencies right now, there's 753 cryptocurrencies. Come to CoinMarketCap each day because you'll see this number starting to rise. It was 740 something last week, okay? 114 billion, all right? This is still a baby though, because let's take a look at Apple, one company. Their market cap, ladies and gentlemen, is $764 billion. So the market cap of Apple is 7 times the market cap of the entire cryptocurrency space. Let me say that again and make sure you get my point. The market cap of Apple, if you took all those outstanding shares of Apple, multiplied it times Apple's stock price, you come up with the market cap. The market cap of Apple is 7 times more than the market cap of the entire cryptocurrency space. That's one company. If you see the potential for massive growth in the cryptocurrency space, put in your questions box an M for massive growth. Okay? So I want us to understand that while there's been tremendous growth already, this thing is really just getting started. Most people in the mainstream still know nothing about Bitcoin, much less some of these other currencies. Okay, so let's do this real quickly. All right, so I've got my one tab open for what current pricing is. I'm going to go to another tab, and I'm going to go under. Maybe want to make a note of this so you can do this. This will help your belief level of this this niche. Go under trending. No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Go under tools, and then historical snapshots. And we're going to left click there. Okay, and what this allows us to do, this allows us to go back in time and to look at what the prices were of certain cryptocurrencies. I want to go back to June of 2016, and we're at June the 13th, so we're going to click the date that corresponds the closest to today's date. So this would be June the 12th, 2016. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to compare what the price of Bitcoin and some of these other currencies were a year ago, what they are worth now, and get a sense. And we're going to play the what if game. If I had had $1,000 sitting in that coin and I just left it, didn't touch it, didn't trade it, just left it, what would that be worth today? All right. So here is the what if game. All right. So I'm going to go to today's prices on Bitcoin. We're going to look at Bitcoin first. We're going to look at 3 coins here tonight. Okay. Again, this so you see the explosiveness. Hey, you may know nothing about Bitcoin, but numbers never lie. All right. And so hopefully this will incent you to say, okay, I'm going to learn a little bit about this space here. All right. So here is the price as of when we refreshed a few moments ago. We're going to subtract out the price last year, which was 627.64. And so Bitcoin has increased in price by $2,096.98 per coin. Okay. Now, I want to get a sense of what does that mean for an actual rate of return. So we take our profit, we divide it by our initial, if we got it for 627.64, our initial investment, and we see that we're up 3 times, 3.34 times. So in other words, had you had $1,000 that you had invested in Bitcoin, your $1,000 would have grown by 3.34 times. Your $1,000 would have grown by $3,341 plus your original $1,000. Okay, that was just the growth. That was just the profit. So $1,000, had you invested $1,000 into Bitcoin this time last year, and through all of the ebbs and flows of the markets, okay, if you weren't trading it, you were just holding on to it, your $1,000 would be worth $4,341 now. Now, what would your $1,000 be worth if it was just sitting in the bank? Okay. By the way, expect big banks, expect other people that have strong financial ties that are not in Bitcoin to try to foo-fooey on the Bitcoin space. Because when people start to get this, they may say, well, shoot, I can be my own bank. Our Digi mentor is going to show you how to store what could be an empire, what could be millions of dollars worth of cryptocurrencies, how you could store that offline away from the hackers, where you can essentially be your own bank. Let's take a look at Ripple. Okay, Ripple right now is at a $10 billion market cap, going for 26 cents. Get that. Ripple's going for 26 cents a coin. 26 cents. 0.264418. That's what it's going for now. We're going to subtract out what it was going for this time last year. Ripple this time last year, right here. All right, so 0.001 would be 1 penny. 0.005 is is half of a penny. All right, so Ripple was going for half of a penny this time last year. All right, so we're going to subtract out the half of a penny. 0.05773. All right, so Ripple has increased 25 cents, but we are going to take this and now divide it by what it started off with this time last year. 0.5773. Ripple is up 44 times. Bitcoin was up 3.34 times. Ripple is up 44 times. So if we had $1,000, what if game, in Ripple, and we didn't touch it, today we would have come to the market and our $1,000 would have increased by $44,802. Add the original $1,000 into Ripple. You would have your Ripple part of your portfolio would be worth $45,802. Part of our 5-step is to ultimately to build a coin portfolio. We're going to leverage the auto trade system. We're going to build a team of auto traders that's going to help us to generate more Bitcoin. We're going to diversify some of that Bitcoin into some of the other top cryptocurrencies. Okay? I'm not talking about trading right now. I'm just simply talking about building a coin portfolio. All right? And that's what you saw here. You saw some trading, but you also saw the impact of having built a coin portfolio. And certain of those coins have increased mightily in a very short period of time, not just Bitcoin. Okay? Let's do one more. All right, we're going to do XEM trading symbol. It's called NIM. All right, so right now NIM is going for 21 cents a coin. We're going to subtract out where it was this time last year. And this time last year, NIM was going for 0.0001 would be 1 penny. 0.002 is 2/10 of a penny. Okay? It was going for 2/10 of a penny this time last year. Minus. All right, so it's up almost 21 cents. We're going to divide it by where it started this time last year. And if you were in NIM, the what if game, your NIM would have increased 103 times. What if game, if you had $1,000, it would be profit $103,730 today. Add your $1,000 initial investment, and your portfolio would be 104. If we had just had 1,000 in Bitcoin, 1,000 in Ripple, 1,000 in NIM, just that. Actually, I did this about 2 weeks ago, so these numbers would be different. About 2 weeks ago, I went through the top 10 coins of last year. And if we had parked 1,000 in Bitcoin, 1,000 in Ethereum, 1,000 in Litecoin, 1,000 in Ripple, so on and so forth through the first 10 coins of last year, not trading it, not buying and selling, all right, we would have been up $10,000 between 10 coins, 1,000 a coin, would be worth $268,000. So I hope you're starting to see a pathway to Digi millionaire status. And again, that's why we have a 5-step. That's why we have a 5-step plan. We're not just going to depend on the auto trading, though we anticipate the auto trading will be a big part of what we do. All right, we're not just going to depend on building the network of auto traders, though we anticipate that'll be a big part of what we do. Some of you, many of you said, hey, I want to learn how to trade. We already have a couple of credible, we believe to be credible Bitcoin offers that we are testing. Not going to mention them yet. I want to test them. I want to vet them first. But assuming that they test well in a couple of months, we'll come back and we'll talk about that being added to and then developing a coin portfolio. Okay? I'd love for you to do all 5. I believe you could take a couple of these and still get there. I just think all 5 get you there quicker. All right, let's do a couple more things and then, all right. So now, real quickly, one thing I wanted to just show you real quickly, I won't spend a lot of time on this here because of time. Bear with me. All right, so I am in my son's trading account, okay? We just had a sale. We just made some money. That wasn't there earlier today. I should say my son just made some money, okay? I am inside of my son's trading account. We're at his trade history. What you're seeing here are all the buys and sells and buys and sells and buys and sells, okay? So I'm in a trading platform. Well, notice what you don't see. You don't see his name. You don't see his account number. You don't see his balance. Now, I could show his balance. Obviously, I'm not going to do that on screen, all right? But here's my point. Any company that says we trade Bitcoin, okay, they ought to be able to show something. Because I can show you this without divulging any sensitive information. Now, I want to take a look. All right, so since he sold this, I want to go and place an order for him to buy it again. All right, so don't worry if you get this or not. Don't worry about all of that. That's sold there. He's been buying at this price right here, so we're just going to place an order for him to buy that all over again. And so you can see from June the 7th to the 14th, this one currency pair that he's trading. He's trading a currency called Stratus against Bitcoin. He bought here, he sold here. He bought here, sold here. Bought here, sold here. Bought, sold, bought. Now some of these, sometimes it scaled in. He didn't get all of what he wanted at one time. It took a while for the price to come back to him. So you can see he bought, then he sold. So this has been 1 trade, 2 trades, 3 trades. This is a 4th trade. This is the 5th trade. So since the 7th, with this one currency pair alone, he's bought and sold, bought and sold, bought and sold 5 times. All right. So I'm going to go on and place an order for him to buy it again. Now, our trading mentor, for those of you who are going to start to learn how to trade, he's going to start you off with a different platform than what you're seeing. What I really just want to show you is I want to show you that any system that says that they are trading Bitcoin, they ought to be able to show you. Stratus is up 30% for the day. You see that? This is up 30% for the day. That's why we sold. Okay, but I want to place an order to buy. I'm not going to chase the market. You won't know how to do this just yet. Don't worry about it. Our trading mentor will be introduced next week. All right, so I'm ready to buy. Now, I placed an order to buy at a certain price. It's not at that price now. All right, so I'm not going to buy this right now. The market's well above that. All right. So really quickly, and then we'll start to talk about the auto trade system. All right, I wanted to show you there's no excuse for a system not being able to show some proof of trading because you still haven't seen anything overly sensitive. Okay. Now, really quickly, so here's what our trading mentors is teaching us. Very quick. He's got a portfolio of coins that he likes. Now, he'll tell you to go and do your own research. He'll begin to show you how you can do your own research. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know about a lot of that stuff. So I said, he's done it. He's done it for 3 years. He's doing really well with it. I'm going to follow the leader. All right. I'm learning stuff, but I could be earning while I'm learning. Okay. And so all I've been doing is following his portfolio. If he's buying something, I'm buying it. Okay. And when we go in, and we make a purchase, all right, think of it in the stock market analogy. If I buy 100 shares, I want to scale out of some of it to get some profits because the market goes up and down and up and down and up and down. As I just showed you, you might be in that same trade multiple times, okay? But you could also have these coins go to heaven on you. So you want to start to build a portfolio. So I'll give you a good example here. This particular currency is Sia coin. I just started accumulating some of it. And you can see since June 6, buy and sell, one transaction, buy and sell, second transaction, buy and sell, third transaction, buy and sell, fourth transaction, buy and sell, fifth transaction, buy and sell, sixth transaction. So it keeps coming back to my initial buy price. I haven't chased it. It keeps coming back. But every time I sell, I don't sell the full amount. So if I had 100 shares of, let's say, a stock, when I sell, maybe I'm only selling 50 shares. So I'm starting to build a small position in that coin. And then I buy, all right, so I bought and I sold, but I only sold like half of my position. Then I bought again, and I sold again, but I only sold half of that position. Then I bought again and I sold again. I only sold half of that position. So I'm steadily accumulating coins. I'm taking some profits off the table and accumulating coins at the same time. That, ladies and gentlemen, would be a combination of number 3 and number 5. Okay. By the way, my son's trading account is up over 80% in his first month of trading. And one of the reasons I want you to consider learning how to trade is nobody can take that away from you. Network marketing companies come and go. Nobody can take that away from you. Okay? All right, so now let's start the round third by talking a little about the auto trade platform that is coming up and why we are promoting it with a ton of vigor. Okay? Now, I've got one tremendous leader on right now. He's tired of promoting things that come and go, and so he's really insistent, as well as he should, on the platform delivering what they promise, and that is showing proof of real trading. All right, I'm promoting this. I'm promoting it with vigor, with the understanding that if they don't do what they say they're going to do, we will call them on the carpet. If they don't do what they say that they're going to do, we still have a Digi $1 million game plan. Okay? All right. Now, so here's why we're promoting this. One, they said that they're going to provide real proof. Now, so far they've provided some screenshots. I do want to see video. All right? And so I assume that we're going to see video with the system. But this was interesting because I know where this account is. It's the same exchange that I just showed you. It's called Poloniex. And so they have a trader. They call him Mr. X. They say that the traders oversee over $100 million in Digi assets. And this trader took a portfolio of 1 million, turned it into 2.2 million in a few short months. Okay. There's another trader called Mr. Y. Mr. Y likes to trade in the ICO market. Now, our trading mentor has told us some of the ICO ventures that he's had. He had one coin that he got for $1 a coin, and last check it was going for like $26, $27 a coin. He had another coin he got for $1 a coin, and it was going for 20, maybe 30 bucks a coin. He got one coin for $2 a coin, and that coin, as of yesterday, was going for $88 a coin. Okay, so there's a trader that specializes in ICOs. Now, it could be that he's getting into them before they've actually hit the market. It could be that he's getting into them shortly after they've hit the market and they're tradable on an exchange. So with this screenshot, he took 200 Bitcoins and turned it into 600 Bitcoins in 90 days. Now, what does that mean? Well, at the time that this screenshot was taken, this account was worth $956,000 and it had 608 Bitcoins. What if this account holder has 608 Bitcoins and it goes to $250,000 a coin? Oh my gosh. Okay. Now, at the time, we can do some quick math because this account value was $956,572.42. So the auto trade platform means just that. You don't ever have to take the trade. All right. Do I want you to understand it as you undertake it? Yes. And if you're part of our following, you're going to understand it because we're going to be consistently doing video content, not only for training, but some of that training is going to turn around and be promotional. Like some of you are going to take this webinar that we've recorded. Once we release it, it'll probably be sometime tomorrow afternoon. And you're going to get this to some folks that maybe they have been in the Bitcoin space. Maybe they haven't. Maybe they've been in some of those crap deals like Gladio Coin or what have you. And they're just not sure if any of that stuff is going to work. And they see numbers never lie. And even though we're promoting an auto trade platform, our disclaimer is we're going to make them keep their vow, and we have other steps beyond the auto trade system. Okay? We're going to promote that vigorously, especially if they keep their vow. Even with that, that's not our entire game plan. All right, so we take this and we divide it by the 608 Bitcoins. At the time that this screenshot was taken, Bitcoin was going for roughly $1,571 a coin. Well, if we took the same 608 Bitcoins now, and we multiplied it times what Bitcoin is going for now, Bitcoin is going for 2724. That's 1.65 million. So the trader tripled the account from 200 to 600 Bitcoins. I just got to do this real quickly. If you had 608 Bitcoins and it got to $250,000 a coin, $152 million. $152 million. Ladies and gentlemen, the way I see cryptocurrency, because in the stock market craze, the .com craze, the only people that really made out were some of the insiders, the people that had the big money, where their brokers called them and said, "Hey, I can get you into this IPO before it even hits the stock market." They made a killing. The average person working at UPS, the average person, the average teacher, the average fireman, firewoman, they didn't make anything from that. Maybe they saw their stock market portfolio increase a little bit. What I'm seeing with Bitcoin is, because Bitcoin in the space is the money of the people, not of the Federal Reserve, not of the big countries and big companies. It's the currency of the people. Then average people like, I'm not going to call him average. I don't want to call him average. I don't want to belittle him. But listen, our mentor, who you're going to meet next Thursday, he'll tell you his story. And some of you are going to be able to relate to his story. He just happened to fall into Bitcoin and then he took action. Okay? All right, so let's start to round third here. So what's going to happen over the next few days is there's going to be the release of a pre-launch of this trading platform, auto trading platform. Okay? And while it will not be the only part of our Digi Millionaire game plan, it will help us get there much quicker, assuming they do what they say that they're going to do. Okay? The auto trade, you'll register for free. Then about 30 days after the pre-launch, so the pre-launch is set to start any day now. The owner was telling me that it could go live now. They were just doing some more stress testing because of the server. They want to make sure it doesn't break the system. Okay. They also have their own in-house tech team and all that other good stuff, so they're not having to outsource that. So in any event, once it goes into pre-launch, it's going to be in pre-launch for about 30 days. That'll give us a chance to continue to pre-build our auto trading team. Then the launch will happen. The launch will mean that you'll be able to fund your account. You'll be funding your account with Bitcoin. So we will make sure that you know how to do all of that stuff. Probably this Thursday, we'll spend a good part of training on that, making sure you're getting set up with your Bitcoin wallets and things of that nature so that you'll be ready to go. Minimum will be $100 worth of Bitcoin. There is no maximum. There is no monthly subscription or anything like that as it relates to the auto trade platform. Now, from a commissioning standpoint, very simple structure. We saw this structure create millions of dollars in commissions for our audience in a very short period of time. And so it works like this. Anyone that you personally refer as an auto trader, whether they're building the business or not, whenever they make their deposit into their account, you're going to get a 10% referral commission. They deposit $100, you're going to make $10 in Bitcoin. They deposit $1,000, you're going to make $100 in Bitcoin. They deposit, there is no limit, $50,000, you're going to make $5,000 in Bitcoin. Okay? We want to accumulate Bitcoin. One of the ways we're going to accumulate Bitcoin by building a network of auto traders. Obviously, we'll have our accounts auto traded. So you'll have an account auto traded, minimum of 100, no maximum. Don't hurt your family. Don't put more into the account than you can afford to put. All right, with anything and any type of investment, whether we're talking stock market, whether we're talking forex, whether we're talking the coin space, You're only dealing with risk capital. All right? If it all went down the tubes tomorrow, yes, you'd be disappointed, but it does not impact the way you live your life on a monthly basis. So we're not taking away food off the table. We're not paying our mortgage. All right? All risk capital. All right. On your second level, so you refer John. John refers Mary. Mary makes a deposit. Oh, let me go back. That's on the deposit, but people are going to want to reinvest their profits. So as they reinvest their profits, also 10%. So if all of a sudden somebody made $100 worth of Bitcoin in the trading and they want to reinvest that $100, there's another 10% payout. If they made $1,000, that's another 10% payout. Okay? So this becomes its own residual income without people being on an auto ship. It's because people are going to want to reinvest some or all of their profits. A lot of people will invest all of their profits early on, then they'll have some type of game plan of withdrawing and whether they're converting some of that to cash for bills, diversifying into other offers, starting to build out their coin portfolio, what have you. Now, once we see the system in place, we'll be able to better game plan. Like, here's a game plan, and to withdraw and do this with it. All right. Once we see it in the public sphere, we have an idea of how it's going to pay out, but I want to see it because I didn't fully understand it. I think I got it, but I didn't fully understand it, and I don't want to say anything until the company releases the marketing material. I know the name of the company, but I've been told that to keep that under wraps. It will not be the name of the mother company. It will stand alone. So second tier, you refer John. John refers Mary. Mary makes a deposit, 3%. Mary reinvests some of her profits, 3%. She reinvests again, 3%. She reinvests again, 3%. And now, as her account is growing, the amount that she's reinvesting likely is growing, 3%, 3%, 3%. Mary refers Vernetta. Vernetta makes a deposit. Vernetta's on your third level, 2%. She reinvests from her profits, 2%. Reinvest again, 2%. Reinvest again, 2%. Reinvest again, 2%. And we saw this model. The only difference is the model that we were promoting paid 10% on the first level, 5% on the second. This one breaks down the 5% between the second and the third, which is actually going to mean that you're likely, if you build a team of auto traders, you're likely going to have more people on that third level that you're picking up 2% from. So that I believe that we will see a repeat monetarily or more from what we saw with that model, okay? Prayerfully without the regulatory issues that model had, okay? All right, so now, as we start to round third here, what do you need to do? And bear with me because I have something happened to my left hand and I can't type too well with it. I'm in a little bit of pain with it. I don't really know what happened. I think it might be a little gout. Ugh. I've been eating a lot of tuna fish lately, and that might have caused a little flare up in my hand. So some of you that we may be behind on some communication is because I can't type as fast. I'm having to peck. All right, so really quick. All right, here's what we want to do. We want to make sure that all of our audience is set up with the mother company. The mother company is called AdsCash. Now we're setting you up here not so much for AdsCash as for the trading. AdsCash is the mother company. They will be releasing the trading platform. One of the things they're stress testing is they're going to import the genealogy of AdsCash into the new trading platform because it will have its own compensation structure. So if you align with the person that got you to tonight's webinar in AdsCash, then you're automatically going to be in their genealogy. Meanwhile, if you get other people joining you in Ads Cash, they will be in your genealogy. So this is a way for us to pre-build before the pre-launch. Okay, and some of you are already seeing great growth. Fee, I'm so proud of you and your team, and led by you and Erica and her folks and what have you. So some of you are going to be in a great position even before the pre-launches started. Excuse me. Then we'll have about 30 days in the pre-launch, and we'll be cutting a lot of video content that you'll be able to share with your audience. Now, obviously, when we're not going to do everything an hour and a half like we've done here, we'll break it down so that you will have valuable content that you'll be able to get out to your audience, particularly with the seemingly crash of systems like Gladiator Coin. Let me give you a warning, okay? All right. I'm going to do a video on this probably this week. I had the chance, someone was pitching me on this new Jet Coin. Be very careful. Any company that says they're doing trading and they don't show any proof of trading, be very careful. I looked at the site, looked just like Gladiator Coin to me, okay, which obviously concerned me. And saw a guy online who really brought value. He was talking about Jet Coin. He really brought value. I connected with him. We had a very brief phone conversation. But what he said made me want to puke, okay? He said, I said, have they shown or have they said they're going to show any proof of trading? He said, I don't care. I don't care if they show proof or not. You know, I've already made my investment back. Now listen to what he said. Here's a supposed leader. He said, I've already made my investment back, and I'm well in the profit. And if we just get 6 months out of this, it'll make me a millionaire. And I'm thinking, but what about your folks? What about that person who joined 6 months from now? And they believe and they make a $10,000 deposit and then it goes away. You're cool with that? You're all right with that as long as you become a millionaire? So what we saw with Gladiator Coin, we saw a lot of folks that were making money with Gladiator Coin, a lot of the big leaders, and then they just went to something else that looks like Gladiator Coin, and they will make a ton of money because they can recruit. They already have a large team. I want you to be very careful, all right? Heed the warning. This is why we're saying, yes, am I promoting the auto trade system with a fervor? Yes. You know what? Nobody's funded an account yet. We got 30 days before that happens. If they don't follow through, we'll call them on the carpet. If they still don't follow through, then we'll back up and punt. But we have a 5-step system. Okay? So we're not going to be dependent on any one step. So we're going to have plenty of content. Some of it will be 15, 20-minute content. Some of it may be, like this, it's been recorded and you'll be able to get this out, so on and so forth. So what you want to do is you want to get back to the person who referred you to tonight's webinar and say, okay, give me your Ads Cash link. I'm going to join Ads Cash. You don't have to make a purchase inside of Ads Cash, okay? Just join so that you have a position in the structure. What I'm being told is that once they are satisfied with the stress testing, and he's hoping for the latter part of this week, the early part of next week, that's what he's hoping for, then the pre-launch will start. Then instead of telling people to get started with Ads Cash, we'll be telling people to get started, obviously, with whatever the pre-launch link is and what have you. And then we're going to pre-build, all right? Once we can fund accounts, you fund with whatever you can afford to fund with without hurting your family, and we'll begin to build that. Now, in the background, what we're doing from a marketing standpoint with CRB, Click, Rank, and Bank, which is our marketing and training portal, is we are putting together right now the video content that will make up our 30-day video follow-up sequence, so that every person that opts into your system, when they open up an email, they will get tremendous video content. We can take this 1.5 hour that we've done here today and break it down, all right, and we would have 2 weeks worth of video content just by breaking it down into bite-sized segments. Okay, we'll have lead capture pages specific to this offer, and as we start to mature CRB, we'll be adding other quality Bitcoin offers into the affiliate center so that by having CRB, you will be able to generate multiple streams of income. Now, when we introduce our trading mentor on next Thursday, we'll introduce him to our entire audience, but you won't be able to access what he's doing unless you are a CRB member. All right, so if you're not a CRB member, all right, you don't have to become a CRB member. It's just that you're not going to have access to him because he's going to have a very limited number of positions that he's taking. He's only taking on enough folks that he feels like that he can be active in answering questions and follow up and things of that nature. All right, so that's going to be a benefit of our CRB membership. Our CRB membership is $1 for a 7-day test drive, $30 a month thereafter. I will tell you, if you're not a CRB member, you're going to miss out on a lot. I've got a really big plan. I'm not ready to unveil it yet. If all goes according to plan, and we'll be unveiling it in probably August, will be a big part of our Digi Millionaire plan. I'm doing some testing. That's why I'm not going to unveil it until we are confident from the testing. But the only people who are going to be able to participate with that will be our CRB members. Okay, this is our most intimate following. We want to bring value to the entire marketplace, but obviously those who make $30 a month commitment, we're going to so far over deliver that it won't be funny. Okay, all right, so here's what you do, and then Queen, we can open up for Q&A. Get back to the person who referred you to tonight's webinar. Ask them for the Ads Cash link. You get into Ads Cash, you don't have to fund it at all. You're just really taking a seat to get into the genealogy. Number one. Number two, ask that person if they have a CRB link for them to get you their CRB link. And again, CRB is $1 for 7 days. Thereafter, it is $30 a month. Be mindful that when you go through the CRB information, we develop CRB around an offer in the advertising niche. So right now you're going to see and hear information about the advertising niche as you go through your registration, where we'll be adding the Digi information over the coming days and weeks and what have you. Okay. All right. So Queen, let's go on and take questions. I'll go 20 minutes, Queen. So go on and put your questions in the questions box, if you would.
Do you need any kind of licenses to trade cryptocurrency for yourself?
No, not at all. So question, do you need any licenses? Oh, I don't have to do that now because that comes through on the recording. No. No, you don't.
I was getting ready to ask you something, Chick.
No, you don't.
What happened to the co-op?
Excuse me. All right, so whoever asked that, maybe they haven't been on the last couple of webinars. Okay, so we are doing a search traffic co-op. We've hired a search traffic agency. That would be things like Yahoo and Bing ads, Google ads, maybe even some paid YouTube ads, okay? Originally, we were going to do that for the advertising offer, but the advertising offer right now is not, they haven't completely gotten to where we feel comfortable putting paid traffic money to it. Meanwhile, this Bitcoin space is absolutely explosive, and we would be, I don't know what that was. We would not be good leaders if we did not say to our audience, hey guys, guyettes, we've got to be in this space. So here's what we're doing with the co-op. The co-op is still open, so you can still get co-op positions. All right, those of you who have already purchased co-op, your funds are set aside for the co-op. All right, what we're going to do is instead of, if the trading platform keeps to the time frame that they've told me, the owners told me, then the auto trading platform will be live and active before the advertising company that we're promoting. Digi is the name of that company, and they've just had some challenges. Okay, so what we've decided to do is And in speaking with our search traffic person said even if Divi was clicking on all cylinders, that he felt like we get our biggest bang for the buck by doing a search traffic campaign around this Bitcoin space, because that allows us not to only target people in network marketing, it allows us to target people that are in the Bitcoin space, in the Forex space, in the stock market trading space, in the binary option space. So that allows us to cast a wider net. So we're not going to turn the traffic on until the trading system has launched and we are confident that it's working, meaning that they're not having to start and stop. That's been one of the challenges with the advertising platform we're promoting. They've had to start and stop. Okay. Now, if you have done the co-op and you say, hey, well, that's not what I signed up for the co-op for, just send me a support ticket. Not a problem. Okay. That just means that you won't obviously be in the co-op. And at some point, once the co-op is completely filled, it'll be filled. For those of you that want to be a part of the co-op is a $100 one-time setup fee payable in Bitcoin and $300 for a share. A share gives you a link in the rotator. That $300 is going to cover 3 months worth of traffic. Okay. Most of the folks that have done the co-op have done the buy 3 shares, get 1 free. So if you buy 3 shares, $300 a share, you'll actually get 4 links in the co-op. You're getting a link in there free, and you will get a month free. So you'll get 4 months worth of traffic. And search traffic is widely regarded by those that are into traffic generation as the most targeted leads there are. What we will have when people click onto an ad is they're going to go to what's called an advertorial, where it's going to look like either a blog post or it's going to look like maybe like a news post. And it's going to talk about cryptocurrency. It's going to talk about Bitcoin, some of the highlights that we talked about here, talk about our 5 steps. And then there's going to be a call to action for people to click, and then they'll opt in, and they'll be a part of your email list. All right. And then there'll be a presentation, a sales presentation. Once they opt in, they'll be taken to a sales presentation. Then they'll be a part of the 30-day follow-up series. So if they don't join right away, but they find value in the follow-up sequence, there's a good chance they may join you down the road. And then you would get a 10% override when they deposit, and then any additional investments or reinvestments. Again, if you're a part of the co-op now and you say, hey, that's not what I signed up for, I don't want to be a part of the co-op anymore, that's not a problem. So far, nobody's taken me up on that. All right. But if you're that one that's going to take me up on that, then send a support ticket through CRB and say, hey, I want my co-op funds back. That just means you won't be a part of the co-op. And you might lose that positioning, because we've got a cap right now. We still have some room, but we've got a cap right now. Next question.
Have you completed any lead capture pages that promote the Bitcoin program? Or
Well, we're working on them, but to have lead capture pages without any type of follow-up system really would go against our teaching, and so I'm working more on the lead capture page. The lead capture pages are simple. The follow-up sequence is what takes the time. So that's what we're working on right now, is the follow-up sequences. It'll be a couple weeks before we have that.
Okay, is this platform in the U.S. and accredited like any major real institution?
You talking about the trading platform? Heck no, we don't want it to. No, you don't want that to be U.S. No, you don't want that to be U.S. No, not at all. And listen. Don't buy into that crap about they said accredited. I'll give you an example. All right, I traded in the Forex market. All right, if you trade through a U.S.-based Forex broker, you are not going to make the money that you can make in the Forex market outside of the U.S. stupid regulations they have. I mean, it killed my Forex business, Queen. I had a whole Forex business back in 2009, 2010. Stupid regulations. So no, it is not, and you don't want this. Now, when you're trading on your own, I think Poloniex, I think, is in the U.S. And right now, there's not a lot of regulations as it relates to Bitcoin, and we don't want it to be overly regulated. What we saw in the Forex market, when I first got in the Forex market in 2003, there were very little regulations to the Forex market. Well, they went from one extreme to the other. Instead, they went from no regulations to being far too heavily regulated, and they need to be somewhere in the middle. So no, this is not a U.S.-based platform, and you don't want it to be a U.S.-based platform. Next question.
Okay. Brian, you're saying you said something about for the $100, but I don't know what the original question was. If you asked it earlier, you have to come back and ask the whole question. Okay, if I heard correctly, we have to have CRB membership in order to participate in the personal trading.
Yep. That is a benefit of our CRB membership.
The only way to access coin training is to be a paid member of CRB. That was a question right after the first person asked the question.
Yep. Next question. That is a definitive yes. That's those who are in CRB are the ones that say, I believe in your vision enough, and our commitment to them is that we're going to bring you immense value. And since there is a limited number of spots that I know our mentor is going to take, why would I allow people that haven't made the commitment to what we're doing to take one of those spots? So the only way, I won't even mention his name next week. You know what his name is? Digi Mentor.
Digi Mentor. Digi Mentor. Okay, now everybody's asking the same. Oh, the auto trading program that you were talking about, Doc. That you don't have to be a member of CRB to be a part of that.
No, you don't. Nah.
Not the one that that has the 10, 3, and 5. 10,
3, and 2. No, you don't have to be a member of CRB for that.
10, 3, and 2. Sorry.
No, you don't have to be a member of CRB for that. I think if you want to build it and you want to build a team of auto traders, you're going to have a lot more success, I believe, by being a member of CRB. But you don't have to be a member of CRB to be an auto trader or to even build a team of auto traders. Yeah. Next question.
So next week we will discuss the cost to learn the trading from your mentor.
$100 a month in Bitcoin.
Okay, so we're not gonna wait till next week.
Nope. No, because because he's got a limit.
I just told you, $100 is $100 a month
in Bitcoin.
In Bitcoin.
And here's why. Because I know he's got a limited amount. I talked to him. I think it was it might have been late last week. I think it was Thursday. We talked for maybe about an hour and a half, and I was like, "Hey, is there any way that you might open it up for more than the spots?" And he said, "Nah, Doc, because I'm very active, and that's the number of people I feel like that I can provide good support to. Anything beyond that, he wants to make sure he provides stellar support. So I want you to go on and be prepared for that. So $100 a month in Bitcoin."
Someone is asking if you're still planning to go to the Digi conference in July.
I am not. The reason I am not, as we had a webinar on Thursday, and forgive me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm behind on making some of those posts in the CRB back office because we're working on the campaign for the auto trade platform, or really not just the auto trade platform for the Digi Millionaire concept. So forgive me. All right, I've got it. I just have to post it. They're introducing something they're just not ready right now. Okay, and we have been very patient, but our folks need to make money. Bottom line, some of you have been following us for a year with an offer called THW Global, and man, we did our best, and we 5 months into it, and we said, you know what, this is not working. Then Divi, I believe they will get that act together. But I've been on a couple of leadership webinars of late where they said, hey, it may take longer. I know they're going to introduce a 4X trading platform at their at the function. And I just don't have any interest in that. That 4X platform has done well by 4X standards, has averaged closer to 3.5% a month for the last 3 or 4 years. But here's the challenge. Every one of these trades you see here is a 4% gross trade. All right? Every one of these sales, this is my son's account, okay? This sale, this is one sale here, okay? This sale, now this was just today. These were just today, Queen. All right, so every one of these sales you see here represents about a net of 3.5 to 3.75% return on that trade. Now, obviously, he does not put all of his portfolio into any one trade. He diversifies it, so if something goes against him, it's not going to have a major impact on his portfolio. So I have a hard time getting excited about a 3.5% 4X system when I know he can do this in his own trading without any auto trading. And when I know that he's developing a coin portfolio that is growing over time. I mean, both of my sons will be Digi millionaires in the next no more than 3 years. My oldest son is 21. By the time he's 24, he should be a Digi millionaire. My younger son is 19. By the time he's 22, he should be a Digi millionaire. So I don't know if they're going to stream it, but when I found out that that they still may not be ready fully for the rank and share program, I'd rather just not go and spend our time on the Digi concept. All right, capture pages, traffic, and all that good stuff. So no, I'm not going. Next question.
Do we have an official launch date for the trading platform, the auto trading platform?
No, we've got a pre-launch in the next few days. I know he's pushing for late this week, early next week. And again, what he said to me, he being the owner via Facebook, what he said to me is they could take it live now, but what his concern is the migrating of over 400,000 folks that are in AdsCash now into the trading platform, along with new people now joining. And so they're doing some stress tests to make sure that from a server standpoint that they'll be able to handle that. So he's hoping latter part of this week, maybe the first part of next week. Now, then what he's telling me is that about 30 days after should be the launch of the trading platform. So if that happened, we're talking middle to latter part of July for the trading platform to actually be launched in the marketplace.
Okay. I think we have time for one more.
Okay.
Oh, someone laughed out loud at the Forex regulations.
Yeah.
For the U.S.
Yeah. Let me make sure I make this very clear, because maybe somebody had to step out or what have you. Okay. The auto trade platform is totally different from our trading mentor. Look at our 5 steps. Okay. Bruce, I'm answering your question, buddy. Okay. The auto trade platform that we're promoting is totally separate and distinct from our personal trading mentor for those of you who want to learn how to trade. Two totally different. All right. So our trading mentor is not a part of the auto trading team. The auto trading team has nothing to do with the trading mentor. Our trading mentor is only taking, he was only taking 300 spots, and some of those outside of our network have already been taken. All right, so he's only going to have 300 folks, and I understand why, because I'm part of that following. He shows everything. All right, he shows, and that's not something. The stuff that he shows, you can't show to the whole world. I would never show what he shows on a live webinar, never. All right, because he does reveal some sensitive information. One, but the thing is, he's very, very active in his chat group, and so his feeling is he feels he can handle about 300 folks, and anything above that, he just doesn't believe he'd be able to provide the type of support. And he loves this. He absolutely loves what he's doing. So that's Bruce. That's different. There is no limit on the auto trading, but there is a limit on those who want to learn how to trade. All right, Queen, was that it?
I think you said, where do we get a link?
All right, get a link for what? What are we getting a link
The
for?
auto trading. I think that's
Okay.
what Bruce was asking, unless you saw something else. That I
Okay,
didn't
all
see.
right. You right now, what you're doing is you're registering for Ads Cash. So you need to get back to your referrer and say, hey, get me your Ads Cash link. Ads Cash is the mother company of the trading platform. The trading platform will not have the name Ads Cash. I know what the name is, but I was told not to say it. So I don't want to betray the owner's trust, because I want to be able to go to him and get information, and then I always ask him what I can say and what I can't say, what have you. So Ads Cash is, you will register for free. All right, by the way, when you're registering, here's one thing that we've noted, and we just hadn't taken the time to do a video on it. When you're registering, it's going to ask you for your phone number. If you put your phone number in, let's say that you are in the U.S. and you do something like, +1 and 757 324 328 6945. For whatever reason, the system will not take that, and unfortunately, the system doesn't tell you it doesn't take that. So some people have done that, and they say, well, it won't let me go in advance. Don't put your phone number in like that. Just do the code. So if your area code is 757 896 3654, just put it in all like that, and then you should have no problems. So get the Ad Cash link of the person that referred you to tonight's webinar. Register for free. Then you'll be able to send out your Ad Cash link to get people pre-enrolled. Tomorrow, when I send out today's training, okay, there will also be instructions for those of you that want to start pre-building. So I'll make sure that you have an instructional video on how to get your Ads Cash link, where to find your Ads Cash link to start sending it to people. We want to pre-build before the pre-launch, because nobody really knows about this other than the folks that are in Ads Cash. And I can tell you, most of those folks in Ads Cash don't have a clue as to how potent this trading platform is going to be. All right? So we get a chance to get a leg up. Is that it, Queen?
That's it. That's all you have time for.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep. The $30 a month is for CRB. Someone asked, what's the $30 a month for? That's for CRB. That is our marketing and training portal. Our most intimate following is a part of CRB. You don't have to be. It just means that there's going to be certain things that we'll bring to our following that will only be available to those that are in CRB. Once again, get back to the person that referred you. And let me just give you this. If you are either an orphan or you're not quite sure if the person that referred you to our following is a part of CRB, you can send an email to ClickRank and Bank. If you're already in CRB, use the support ticket system, please, at gmail.com. All right. If you are an orphan, you were following somebody who was following us, but they're MIA, and you happen to get tonight's webinar announcement, and you jumped on the webinar. If you are an orphan, if you need an Ads Cash link, send an email. Say, I'm a Ads Cash orphan, I need a link, or I'm a CRB orphan, I need a link, or what have you, okay? Be mindful that I am a little hampered in terms of how quickly I can follow up, because my hand is swollen, Queen. My left hand is swollen, and it hurts. So it does hurt. I can't type with it right now. I don't know what the heck is going on, Queen. Maybe you could talk to me about gout. I forget what Walt says about gout.
Okay.
Do you remember?
I,
You
I,
remember?
I can help you out with that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Cause, whoo, it
Give me a
started.
call.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Ah.
Give me a call.
And I'm having a peck. That
Give me
I,
a
I,
call.
I gosh.
Anyway, we're gonna take care of Doc so we can keep on working.
All right. Somebody told me to drink plenty of fresh raw celery juice. Okay, I can do that. That's pretty good.
Well, I'm getting ready to really tell you what really will pull it out is cherry juice.
Someone else said that.
Yeah, it's but it has to be the real cherry juice.
Like health food store type cherry juice.
And you can get it at health food store.
Okay.
Call me.
Okay. All right. Okay. I got you. I got about a whole. I got cherry juice and celery juice in the. Several people said celery juice. Several people said.
Or you can put a splash of some
Put a
juice.
splash of some other juice with celery. So David's got me doing a mixed drink. Somebody said cheap whiskey. Hey, Queen. You know when I threw up this chart here about one of the coins named Ripple, you know, some people
Okay.
like, oh, that's some. Is that cheap whiskey? That's cheap like that. The Fred
That's
Sanford.
cheap wine. Cheap wine.
Okay.
You remember Fred Sanford? He used to drink it. He
He,
talked about Ripple.
but see, I always thought that was fictitious. I didn't know Ripple was an actual.
It was real. It was real.
And and Ripple was up 238%.
I see why.
Okay, well.
Back in the day, they were on the corner. They had their Ripple, man.
Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are finished. Thanks a lot, Queen. I'll give you a call so you can tell me what to do so I can type
Yeah.
again. Good night, everyone. Love you guys.
Good night, everyone.